Yeah, so I think where I differ from a lot of people is everybody talks about objections, and which they are going to come up, and they're not a bad thing, right? If somebody's giving you an objection, it's typically because they're interested, but they're not. There's something holding them back still. If they're not giving you anything, most of the time, maybe they're not like, serious, or they're just kind of like trying to get you off the phone.
Right.
Or or the other reason is because in the beginning, what I do in the beginning of my call is really bring down their sales resistance, and I'm making it come off as more of a customer service call versus like, "Hey, I'm about to buy your house." So
Sure.
when my opening line is just, I'm all inbound PPC. So it's, "Hey, you filled out a form at 123 Street. You still possibly looking to sell that?" And the reason I'm saying possibly is because I don't want to assume anything. Because if you have made a ton of calls, the first thing somebody says is, "Hey, you're going to sell that property." It's like, well, maybe I don't have to, right? Like, I don't need to sell it.
Right.
And so when we come off very nonchalant, like, "Hey, looks like you might be possibly looking to sell that." And now the demeanor is very different of the homeowner.
Hmm.
And then my follow-up question, instead of asking like why, or they're like, "Why are you selling it?" And they're like, "Oh, this guy's just trying to figure out where he can step on my neck and figure out my pain
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
increase my house." All I'm saying is, hey, the first part of this call is really just to figure out like what you're looking to or sorry, let me rephrase that. What the first part of this call is just to see what you're looking to get out of, maybe working with a cash buyer versus maybe going with a realtor. And so I asked that question because they're going to say a number of different things. They're going to say, "I don't want to pay closing costs and realtor fees. My house is in bad condition. I need a quick sale because of whatever reason, because, my grandma's in the hospital and I need to get moved over and be closer to her."
Mm.
And so you say it in a different way where they're just like, "Well, he didn't ask me why I'm selling. He just asked me, what has me going this direction versus that direction."
Right.
And so
It's
they're much more
curiosity.
exactly. And
Right.
so it's just a different way to say something that makes them feel like, "Oh, he's just here to see what I got going on. He's curious about what my life is, what's going on, and he's doing it in a different way than the average person." And
Hmm.
so I think I'm able to get people to really drop their guard down and open up to me through my sales process. And that's where, if they like you, they trust you. If they trust you, they'll sell you your house. Um, I think that's why I'm converting so many leads, because I'm building so much trust in the beginning of my calls.
Welcome to the Texas Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview Texas real estate professionals from active real estate investors, lenders, property managers, and many others that provide goods and services into the real estate investing industry in the great state of Texas. Our goal is simple: to share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level, and to meet the pros that can help you get there. Texas Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and entrepreneurs build the business they need to live the life that they've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome back to our show. I'm your host, John Harcar, and I'm here today with Brett Erickson. And I'm excited to talk about this. As a sales guy, I like to hear how people's process. So we're going to talk with Brett on his sales process and really how to convert better. It's something that I think that once you can learn more and get other ideas, it might help your business. So Brett, man, welcome to our show.
Hey, I appreciate you having me, John.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to have you here. I think our listeners are going to really, take away some good stuff on how you're approaching, your sales process, your conversions. But before we dive in right to that, let's talk about you, right? How did you get into real estate? Tell us a little bit about your story and what brought you up to until today.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Yeah, thanks. So I grew up, I'll go way back to where I grew up at, right? So
Okay.
super small town, open up the doors to out the high school. It's a parking lot and a cornfield. I mean, I grew up in the freaking middle of nowhere. So, I mean, everybody that you talk to, nobody really did real estate where I was at. And
Really?
so it was all blue collar. I worked on a farm. I picked rock, like all kinds of just like working with your hands type of work.
Mhm.
And so that was really instilled in me, was to do that hard, 12-hour days, whatever, really work super hard. And so when I graduated high school, I basically just Googled a way to make the most amount of money with the least amount of schooling. And so I became a power lineman.
Okay.
Built power lines for 8 years. Got around, really not the best crowd sometimes, depending on where you're at. And that, so you're working on the road, um, making good money. But then what really kind of flipped the switch for me was when I seen these guys that are, 45, 50 years old, they're topped out. They're away from their wives. They're cheating on their wives, like not living a good family life. Right. And I'm like, if that's what is destined for me, like I might be making good money right now, but maybe I get caught in the bad group. And so I needed to start finding different avenues. My body was starting to hurt because I'm like working, lifting all this heavy stuff.
Started to see the writing on the wall, man.
Yep. It was coming loud and clear. And I knew that I wanted to get something else. I started listening to a podcast, the Brad Lee one, seen a guy by the name of Naaman Taylor who was
Yeah.
doing wholesaling in Fort Worth, and that's where I was at the time. And so I hadn't quite made the jump, but I actually got a DWI while I was doing power lines. And if you get one of those, you lose your CDL, and typically that's a big requirement for working that job. There's a bunch of big
Sure.
trucks.
Yeah.
And so I ended up losing my job because of it.
Oh,
And
man.
so from there, I was like, that was like the biggest blessing that could have happened to me. I could have sat there and been like, oh, poor me. I had a really good job. I just got a promotion. And, now I'm dealing with the DWI. I lost my job. Probably can't get another job as a power lineman. And then I transferred that into, I've always wanted to do real estate. I just heard about this guy in Fort Worth. And so I reached out to him and, ended up working for him for a while under his wing, learning the game. But that's how I got into the real estate game.
Okay. And I know we talked a little bit about this before, but was there anybody back in the day? Because I've talked to a lot of people that were like, they didn't even know or recollect that they had someone back in the day, a family member, friend, associate in real estate that planted that seed. Was that the case for you, or was it that purple book that everybody else reads?
Yeah, it's just that book. It was just that book, man, because
Yeah.
I mean, my dad was a state trooper. My mom was like HR. All my family members, they were all farmers. Like there was nobody really in that town that had it, that really like did
Right.
anything
So
that I like what that
no
book.
acclamation to it.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
It was
And
it was
for
mainly
folks, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
it was mainly just the fact that I wanted to break out of that cycle where everybody in my hometown just like kind of did that physical labor type job and like just never really got out of the rat race.
Got it. Yeah, I was gonna say, for folks that don't know, that little purple book is the Rich Dad Poor Dad. So you lost this job, you found wholesaling. What was the beginning like? Like, what were some of the struggles, maybe some of the things that you had to overcome? Maybe it's mindset when you're trying to start this.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet, for real estate investors and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was, for one, I had acclimated my lifestyle up to, I was making like 150,000 a year or something.
Mm.
And so like I was terrible with my money. So I had, brand new truck, brand new boat, house payment. And now I didn't have that income
Now you had
anymore.
no income.
Yeah. And I was like, well, shit. So, that was real tough. And that was like real tough nights of watching a lot of money leave my bank account every month. And so I think that was good for me because it really put my back up against the wall. I didn't have
Mm,
like a big nest egg to sit on.
sure.
And so, I was able to really put the pedal to the metal. But the hardest thing was probably like, where do I find leads? Where do I go for this, or who do I learn from? I knew nobody in real estate. And so I think that was the biggest struggle, was trying to figure out how to get started.
Okay.
And then who do I learn from? What's the fastest way to get this going? I mean, I started out by knocking doors, and I quickly learned like this was not gonna be anywhere near quick enough to supplement this income. So from there, it was, working for somebody, right, that
Mhm.
already had something going. I didn't have to pay for the leads because he was already bringing in hot inbound leads. Great sales guy. Um, and so just getting under his wing, and then just trying to fast track as fast as possible. But definitely the mindset is tough. Like, you have to know that, like, you just got to put the work in, and you have to make the calls. You have to just do the things that on paper, like, will stack up. And then from there, the pieces will start falling into place.
Well, and that's the hard part, I think, nowadays with social media. People don't want to put in the hard part. They don't want to do this
Hmm.
stuff because all they see is the fluff, right? So, and I love to hear sought out a mentor in a sense, right?
Right.
As opposed to learning on YouTube, which you could have done, and it, extended your time. You took that action. You worked with someone that taught you it. You learn from his mistakes. You learn in the real life situations. So I think for anybody who's listening, if you're in this stage, that's really important. Look to somebody that's in your market, in your area, that might be able to help you navigate the beginning part, because that is huge. And for you, where do you think you would have been if you didn't join that business?
Oh, I would have been, I'd be back in power lines right now. Like, I would, there's no way, because well, for one, I was a super hot lead. So anybody that any type of training, I was maxing out credit cards, buying it. Like, I was just trying to figure out, after all the podcasts I listened to of Brad Lee every single day in the work truck,
Mm-hmm,
it
mm-hmm.
was like everybody talked about, you have to learn from somebody if you want to like fast track it, or,
Yeah.
you got to get close to somebody that's where you want to be.
Yep.
And so it was every day, like, who can I learn from? Whatever. But when I was starting to really run low on the bank account, I was like, that's when I had to make that pivot. So if I wouldn't have joined that company, I definitely would be like, probably wouldn't be doing this, or maybe I would be, but it would have taken me a little bit longer for sure.
Right. Okay. So what does the business look like now? I mean, what's your main exit? What markets are you operating in?
Hmm. So I use multiple strategies. So I'm doing novations, I'm doing seller finance deals, cash, subject to, which really does help, again, with that conversion rate, to have multiple exit strategies. I would say probably get good at one first, because you're gonna have to get comfortable on the phone, and if you learn too much, you're just not gonna be bad at all of it.
Right.
But as far as right now, it's as far as amplified closing goes, it's just me and my VA, and then I built systems around me, as far as I got a dispo company out of Fort Worth, an Easy Dispo. They're great. They've always found buyers for me. um, he lets you keep a lot of the money. Started out at 60/40 splits, went to 70/30, and then now we're on a flat fee. So super cool for that, especially if you don't want the turnover of
Okay.
training dispo people and then they learn the game and they leave. I just partnered with him to handle that part of the business for me. And then,
Do you find that you're okay? Because a lot of people would be like, "Well, I can save that money and just do it on my own." What was the reasoning behind you hiring that out versus taking that stance?
so my thought is that I wanted to go super quick, and I was all about speed. I wanted to start getting the money in because I want to start buying, houses later or apartments, or I want to build that capital as fast as I could. And I had never done dispo before, and I didn't care to do it. I like to be on the phones. I like talking to sellers. I like sales. And so in my head, I was like, if I'm trying to learn something that one, I don't like to do, it's going to slow me down, right? If I'm trying to do
Yeah.
all the things.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And so when I found out that he was doing such a good split, I was like, well, to me, if I don't even really know what you pay a dispo person, maybe 10%. Is that
10 to
like,
20%.
okay. So yeah, if I'm at 10 to 20%, I start at 10, I get them up to 20. And now they're like, hey, well, I'm making decent money. I built up enough of my own where maybe I just go do this myself. Now I got to train somebody again, as opposed to I outsource it to this company. He's on a flat fee. It's almost the same price. And I never have to train anybody. I pass it off. I don't have to worry about it anymore. I'm back to making more money. So where you might save, let's say you save, I don't know, $3,000 on it because you had it in house,
Mhm.
or you were trying to do it all your own. Well, while you're sitting there trying to display your deals and you got more leads coming
You're
in,
not
I
getting
could
more
have chased
properties.
exactly. I could have
Yeah.
chased another $20,000 assignment versus worrying about that $3,000.
Yep.
And so I was just trying to build the money making, like the money producing activities on the marketing and sales side.
That makes sense. I mean, I back in 2018, 19, when I was wholesale, I did the same thing, but I used JV partners, right? I didn't have, I mean, I don't think there were really any dispo companies. So I just used JV partners, but under the premise, like, hey, look, dude, I'm going to get this under contract. Tell me when it's paid. That's it. Do the rest, right? I want to focus on, I want to
Yeah.
focus right here. And it worked.
Yep.
It was a great relationship, right? He didn't care. He's got deals brought to him. We split, what I think we were like 60-40 most of the time, but it was a
Yeah.
win-win for everybody. So I was like, cool. Awesome. So, what markets are you in right now?
So the main ones I'm in are Texas and Georgia. I'm in 12 major counties in Texas, 12 major counties in Georgia. Specifically for the reason that I have dispo in both those areas with similar splits, right? And so both of them worked out real great every time I brought deals over. I mean, within reason, right? Maybe if I might have one where it was like in a weird street and I underwrit the deal wrong or something, right?
Mhm.
But for the most part, they're finding deals for just about, or buyers for every deal I bring them.
Nice.
So they've been really awesome for dispo. So those are the two major ones, or the two major areas that I focus heavily on. And then I also provide 50-50 splits for people that maybe they do marketing, but they've never called somebody before. They don't care to learn it.
Mhm.
And so they'll send me leads. They'll overhead all the marketing, and then I'll do the rest of it, and I'll split the deal 50-50. And those have been a
Huh.
lot of nationwide stuff.
How do you find people for that?
Doing podcasts, getting your
Social
name out
media
there, right?
marketing. Okay.
Show your face. If nobody knows what you're doing, you can't bring in the leads if nobody knows what you're doing.
So they're paying for all your leads and you're just doing what you do. Do you still use a dispo company?
Yep. And
Okay.
so we'll do 50-50 of the net on that.
Okay.
So
Well, I was going to
I,
ask you, like, do they understand that there's a cost for that dispo company as well? Or do you just
yep.
not tell them and say 50-50 of the net?
Nope. Nope. When we have that actual conversation, when we bring it
Okay.
in, I'm telling them, hey, my dispo's got to get paid first. Or I give them the option. I'm like, either we run it the way that I want to do it through my dispo guy, and we'll do, like, let's say my average deal size is 25 because that's about where it's at.
Mhm.
He takes 5,500 of that. We have 20 left over. We each making 10 on the deal, and all you had to do was give me leads. So you didn't have to learn anything. You didn't have to build any teams. You didn't have to build any
Interesting.
systems.
I love it. It sounds great. That's a great So you don't need a big team, right? If you have stuff like that, you don't need a big marketing arm or anything like that.
No, I just need right now. I just need acquisition guys because everybody wants me to close their deals and do the 50-50, not have to learn the business or put a team together.
I'm gonna have to start a little side biz doing that too. I mean, doing that for
Yeah.
people. I got my wheels spin now. So let's talk about what we talked about at the beginning. Your sales process. Like, what makes your sales process stand out? How is it helping your conversion ratios? And what knowledge or what tip can you pass on to our audience that will help them in those regards?
Yeah, so I think where I differ from a lot of people is everybody talks about objections and which they are going to come up and they're not a bad thing, right? If somebody's giving you an objection, it's typically because they're interested, but they're not there's something holding them back still. If they're not giving you anything, most of the time, maybe they're not like, serious or they're just kind of like trying to get you off the phone.
Right.
Or or the other reason is because in the beginning what I do in the beginning of my call is really bring down their sales resistance, and I'm making it come off as more of a customer service call versus like, "Hey, I'm about to buy your house." So
Sure.
when my opening line is just I'm all inbound PPC, so it's, "Hey, you filled out a form at 123 Street, you still possibly looking to sell that?" And the reason I'm saying possibly is because I don't wanna assume anything 'cause, if you have made a ton of calls, the first thing somebody says is, "Hey, you're gonna sell that property?" It's like, "Well, maybe I don't have to," right? Like, I don't need to sell it.
Right.
And so when we come off very nonchalant, like, "Hey, looks like you might be possibly looking to sell that." And now the demeanor is very different of the homeowner.
Mm-hmm.
And then my follow-up question, instead of asking like why or they're like, "Why are you selling it?" And they're like, "Oh, this guy's just trying to figure out where he can step on my neck and figure out my pain
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
decrease my house." All I'm saying is, hey, the first part of this call is really just to figure out like what you're looking to or sorry, let me rephrase that. What the first part of this call is just to see what you're looking to get out of, maybe working with a cash buyer versus maybe going with a realtor. And so I asked that question because they're going to say a number of different things. They're going to say, I don't want to pay closing costs and realtor fees. My house is in bad condition. I need a quick sale because of whatever reason, because, my grandma's in the hospital and I need to get moved over and be closer to her.
Mm.
And so you say it in a different way where they're just like, well, he didn't ask me why I'm selling. He just asked me, what has me going this direction versus that direction.
Right.
And so
It's
they're much more
curiosity.
exactly. And
Right.
so it's just a different way to say something that makes them feel like, oh, he's just here to see what I got going on. He's curious about what my life is, what's going on, and he's doing it in a different way than the average person. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think I'm able to get people to really drop their guard down and open up to me through my sales process. And that's where, if they like you, they trust you. If they trust you, they'll sell you your house. Um, I think that's why I'm converting so many leads because I'm building so much trust in the beginning of my calls.
Yeah. And I think that's, question is great because most people, so what's got you looking to sell your house today? That's not
Right. And
really caring about what their situation is. Yes, you're asking about it, but it's not like, I'm curious, what made you reach out to a company like myself? It's getting more different and better rounded questions.
yeah, yep.
Um, do you feel that, by being able to do that, that's really what's helping your closing ratio, more than anything else is being able to break down that initial barrier?
Yeah. So I think that I always have my script. I've made 50,000. I don't know how many calls I made. When I worked for Naaman, I mean, I called 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. And I remember on our little log sheet and go high level, it was like I was like 6 months in with like 30,000 calls on a single line dialer. I mean,
Jeez.
like didn't do anything, but I locked myself in a little room and called
Hey,
all
you got to
day.
do what you got to do to learn.
Exactly. But I always have my script there because there's so many key points throughout that script that need to be touched that where if
Mm.
you miss it, then something's going to come up at the very end. Like if you don't ask about condition, then at the very end they're going to be like, well, I'm on the corner lot and this and that, so that's why your price was so low because you didn't figure enough about the house.
Yeah.
Or if you're in your decision maker stage, you skip that and you get to the end to make your offer. They're going to say, oh well, I
I
got
need
to
to talk to
talk
my
to my
wife.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so if you don't hit all those points, you don't have that script sitting out. You're not lowering sales resistance. I think you're definitely going to have a lower conversion rate. And then you're spending all this money on leads for what? Like you're spending all this money, you don't even know how to convert them yet. And so I
Yeah.
think that's a big thing that new wholesalers run into.
And I was gonna that's gonna be my next question for you is like, new guys coming into the game. Like, what are you seeing mistakes that they're doing? And if there is someone that's listening to this podcast and they're getting into it, they want to get into it, like what is what is some key advice or some something they should that'd be able to set them up for success that you can say?
I think they need to get close to somebody that's doing it. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go pay for somebody, right? I paid and got burned by a lot of people. Like, I remember one in particular, I paid him 20 grand and I didn't get jack out of it. Like, it was 6 weeks, 20 grand. And I was so pumped. this is 20 grand. This has got to be good, right?
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah.
we did it for 6 weeks. And I never heard from the guy again, basically after that.
Wow.
And so not that you can do either way, right? If you have the money, pay somebody to learn what they're doing. If you don't, go work for somebody, learn the
Yeah.
game and maybe stick with them, because sometimes being the top guy isn't always, it's not easy. You're the one that's got to pay for the leads. You're the one dishing out all the money to everybody.
Yeah.
You eat last. And so
Yep.
maybe you might find out that you like it. But if you are going to go on it yourself, I would say make sure you have enough money saved up. And if you don't have enough money, like for me, back in December, because I'm still very new with my company, I maxed out 2 credit cards. Luckily from the job that I had high credit limits because I got paid twice a week for 8 years. And so the limit on my credit cards was very high.
Mm-hmm.
And so I maxed out like a $25,000 card and like a $10,000 one. And I prepaid like 3 to 4 months worth of rent because I was like, if I have the leads and I got a place to live, I'm like, I can do this. I'm
Yeah.
like, I got the skills now.
Food is
I have the
food.
leads.
I got the leads.
Yeah, exactly. And so I built my sales foundation first. I had already worked for somebody for a year. I knew what I was doing. And then from there, I was able to I bought like, I think $15,000 worth of leads through like a PPL model because I didn't know PPC yet.
Mhm.
But I was like, I know that when I used to work, I was closing like 1 out of 15. And so if 15,000 gets me X amount of leads and I get 7 contracts out of that and half of them fall through, by that time that 3-month conversion cycle hits, which is why I prepaid my rent for 3 months.
Yep.
I go, my money will hit then. And I'm like, and I'm confident enough in myself and my sales skills that will happen. And it worked out like clockwork. I mean, it was, everybody thinks that was a huge risk, but it was actually very calculated on my end because I knew the conversion cycle.
Sure.
I
You've
knew
done
my
it before.
KPIs.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. And that was what built confidence to start. So to start out, make sure you got enough money, make sure you got like some sort of sales skills, or just go work for somebody first, I would say.
I love it. I love it. And I mean, we could keep talking. Like I told you earlier, when I look up and we're in here at 20 minutes already. So before we get kicked off, if guys are listening to this and they want to learn from you, they want to just call and chat, get in touch, how do they connect with you?
Yeah, I would just go ahead, follow me on Instagram at Brett_Erickson. And I would just DM me a like script or something, and I'll shoot you my script for free, or just DM me like, hey, how can I get started? But anything like that, I can get you my script for free, and just reach out to me on there, and I'll see. I'm more than happy to help. So
cool. And guys, taking advantage of it. It sounds like it's got a pretty cool operation running. Made my wheels spin a little bit on some things, but Brett, I appreciate you coming on and sharing all you did. Guys, reach out. If you want to learn more, or you want to work together, or maybe you want to just pay for marketing and he'll close your deals, whatever that might be. It's a great connection. Brett, thank you again, folks. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. If you're looking to take your business and your life to the next level, you really need to learn more about the Investor Fuel Mastermind. It's your shortcut to success. To learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other amazing entrepreneurs, 100% financing on your deals, member-only discounts, and so much more, please visit investorfuel.com/Texas. By the way, Investor Fuel is even Texas-based. Also, if you're interested in applying to be a guest on this very show, the Texas Real Estate Pro Show, please visit investorfuel.com/Texas. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app so you never miss another episode. We'll see you on the next show.